What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scare Soldier back with another Borderlands 3 video, and in today's video we have a weapon that you guys may be familiar with. It kind of rhymes with walrus. It maybe is called the walrus, but no, all jokes aside, we got the Tunguska in our hands. I hope I'm saying that right. Tunguska, whatever the hell. You know what? We're keeping that walrus, all right? I hope you all are cool with that. It's Walrus Part 2 for the review. So initially we reviewed the weapon and we had a ×1 version, and it didn't do it justice because there is a ×2 that existed. A couple of you in the comments pointed that out, so I'm like, there's a ×2 walrus? Damn, 2 for 1. So we're gonna go ahead and try this weapon out again to see if it's any good, because Borderlands, if you didn't know, increased the base damage of the weapon. So without further ado, we're gonna be trying the sticky mode mostly, but also there is impact mode on this weapon. And also, if you didn't know, the weapon actually projects up into the air and causing a higher explosion, but with all the blast radius, we should be good to go. So let's get some gameplay of the walrus, because the walrus wants to attack. Okay, guys, so we got the Tunguska in action, or Tunguska, yeah, there it is. Tunguska, aka the walrus, in action, and we are taking out enemies very, very effectively. Now, versus what we used before with the ×1, the ×2 is much better. If you guys ever do plan on using the weapon, I highly recommend you search for a ×2, because it is night and day. First of all, the damage is doubled, and also the base damage seems to be higher on the ×2 versions, but that's what I would recommend. Now, definitely use this on Mose, because with a character like Mose, you're going to be able to capitalize on her splash damage abilities, because with this rocket launcher, it's very unique how the projectiles go up into the sky and then explode. And by having extra splash damage radius and also an area of effect roll on your artifact, what's going to happen is the explosions in the air are also going to still target the enemies on the ground, unlike some of the other characters where the explosions would completely miss. With a character like Mose, that allows you to get all of the damage maximized wherever you go, and that splash damage radius is so strong that can kill a ton of nearby enemies, which is what you guys saw in the most recent clips. Now we're going to try the weapon out on Trant, and we are using our Battle Bear Mose build, which will be released very, very soon. I'm pretty much almost done the build, so stay tuned for that. But as you guys can see, the Tunguska, aka the walrus, is a beast. So we're moving on to the Maliwan takedown, and what I was talking about right over there is you saw that trooper who was in the sky and got absolutely destroyed by the projectiles in the sky. So that was a really, really cool timing shot, and hopefully we can get a couple of more of those against the drones. Aside from the really epic name that we gave the weapon, we have to be serious with you guys, because maybe you guys want to know if it's a good idea to farm the weapon or not. So from my experience, first of all, of course, you want to use Mose with a weapon such as this to capitalize on the damage. With that being said, the weapon overall is not going to be as good on as many the other characters. So compared to some of the top tier rocket launchers in the game, with the Plague Bearers, the Backburners, the Ion Cannons, the Nukums, all of these types of rocket launchers are considered quite high up on the tier rankings. But from the gameplay which you saw, the Tunguska has its moment where it can do a lot of damage. It can clear out mobs quite easily with a character like Mose with all that splash damage, and it is not too bad on bosses. Is it a #1 boss killer? No, it's not. So that is going to drop it down a tier automatically. For mobs, on the other hand, it is actually very powerful, but sometimes it can be hard to be accurate with the projectiles to make sure that the splash damage radius is in with the vicinity of the enemies. So if you have a lot of moving targets, it may be harder to hit them because you rely on that splash damage to target a specific area. But if you can get against troopers and other not super mobile characters, you guys will be just fine. So if I had to rank this rocket launcher amongst many of the popular ones, I would say it is definitely maybe 2 tiers below that, to maybe even 1 tier. You can argue, it depends how well you are built for it. The build that we are using is Battle Bear, which was more driven towards focusing on Iron Cub, but so we didn't spec into too heavily into all of the red tree and all of that stuff, so we could have maybe got some more damage overall for Mose specifically, but I think the amount of damage we were doing was quite fair. But do I recommend you guys farm this gun? If you want to have a good time and just try something different, I highly recommend you try it especially if you get the ×2 and only the ×2, because if you don't get the ×2, you guys are going to be wasting your time. Now against big enemies, you can actually play around with this gun and get double damage, because what you can do for like a target like Wotan, for example, is you can shoot closer to the ground, and what's going to happen is you're going to get the initial damage from the ground, and then also with the skyrockets coming up and also exploding for a second time is going to be a very, very good move to do. So for the modes, I would recommend against bosses the sticky mode. The sticky mode is the best because you can just load up on projectiles on the target, and when you're ready to let them go off, you can literally just reload the gun and it's going to detonate all of those stickies, causing a massive amount of damage. For mobs, I would highly recommend you guys use the impact mode, because the impact mode, you don't really have to do much work. You don't have to constantly reload the weapon for the explosions to go off, and they will go off for you. So that is what I recommend when it comes to the weapon. Now, one last update, we are going to be dropping Battle Bear Moe's build very, very soon. I have a couple more touches on the editing, and then it will be dropped for you guys, so stay tuned for that. It's all about Iron Cub. I know you guys are gonna like it. It's super powerful. You saw a little bit of it in this video, but that's pretty much it. I'll catch you in the next one. It's your boy Scare Soldier signing out. Peace.
Solid takedown. First round's on Lorelei.
Brilliant work, Vault Hunter. That ass kicking will make Maliwan think twice before